What's up, guys? Welcome back. Let's get into all the MLB games on Friday, July 18th. I'm going to break down these 15 games that we have coming to you guys live. Hope everyone is recharged, got some days off with the All-Star break, and we're getting together. This was a great couple days to get together all of the football kind of previews as we look into kind of what's coming as training camps are starting up very shortly. So excited for that. Let's talk about the action, and we are going to kind of ease our way back into things, right? I do divvy up the season into quarters. And as we look at it, guys, I do think this is one where we're going to kind of test the water and see kind of how these teams come out hitting the baseball. And I want to kind of talk about my plays as well as some of the games that I will be targeting. And I'll give you my rundown as we will run the entire board here in this video. We're away from the office, going to have a couple days. We'll be back Sunday, but I'm in a member guest tournament there, traveling for some golf. So it will be one where we'll be watching some baseball as well. And yeah, so enjoying it. And also the British Open's underway. So a lot of great stuff in the sports betting world going on, as well as the UFC fight Saturday. Looking forward to that. But let's run the board. Let's talk some picks and get into the action. Okay. First game we're going to look into Minnesota Twins and the Colorado Rockies. Okay. That's going to be the first one on the board that we will look at. 8:40 first pitch. One that I almost got involved with, Coors Field, Minnesota Twins. 10.5 is the total. Okay. I just don't quite frankly know what we're going to get. Me personally, as we look at this game, the one thing that stands out to me is Kyle Freeland's pitching 1-10 on the year, 5.44 ERA. A lot of these games don't have a starting pitcher listed, and that's what we're getting with the Twins. So that is a TBD. We'll see kind of what happens, but I wanted to get this video out ahead of time. That way you guys have the early morning hours before any line movements, as well as kind of the games that I will be betting and have within my best bets. They will have listed pitchers for both sides. So this will be a pass for me. As always, I do kind of like the over. Hard to bet against the Twins here in this spot, 47-49 on the season. So I would lean Twins and over as we look for this first game back in Coors Field. Okay. Next one on the card that we are going to talk about, St. Louis and the Diamondbacks. Okay. No play for me as well. This is going to be one where I want to see kind of how the Diamondbacks come out in the second half of the season. Palante's going for the Cardinals. The Snakes don't have a pitcher named, but we're going to stay away from this one as well. This is one where I want to see the Diamondbacks, how they come out offensively. If I did have to give you guys a lean, this would be one where we do look into the over. But for me, guys, not going to get involved as we don't even have a total for this and the Dodgers-Brewers game that we will talk about, the late action. Kind of jumped around a little bit. We're going to highlight some of the later games first because my official plays will be on the earlier card, I guess you would say, the first kind of set of games that we do have first pitch around 7 o'clock. So we'll get into those a little bit later on. But I would lean over Cardinals and Diamondbacks, but no play yet officially. All right. The Houston Astros and the Seattle Mariners, that's the next one we're going to get into. I do see some value in this one as we look for Walter going in for the Astros. They are playing in Seattle, potentially another game where we would see a lower total. One thing about Seattle, though, as we look at this total set at 7.5, they have scored over 8 runs or more, okay, in 6 straight games leading up to the All-Star break. For me, guys, this is one where we're going to stay away, but I do lend towards the conversation that we might see a little bit of an output here. So I would go over 7.5, not an official play. Also, you can dive into a 7 juiced up, 3 extra innings. We will push it at the bare minimum. So I would lean towards the over 7.5, 7, depending on how much juice you want to take on, but no play. All right. Brewers and Dodgers. This was one that we do not have a pitcher named yet for either party. This will be the late one, 10-10 on the East Coast. I will kind of look at this one as I want to talk about. The Brewers have been an insanely hot team. The Dodgers, I think they've won 3 out of their last 10 games. Not quite sure on that, but I do think this one goes over the total as well. And I would lend towards the conversation of the Brewers, but without any pitchers named, we're going to stay away from this one. Okay. So let's go up a little bit, and we are going to talk about the first official play on the card. Okay. And this is where we're going to find that first game. And the one we're talking about is going to be the Detroit Tigers and the Texas Rangers. Now, this is one where we talk about the Tigers. They have lost 2 straight. Detroit has lost 4 straight. And the Texas Rangers were one of the hotter teams leading up till the All-Star break. Total set at 8.5. Texas has eclipsed that in 7 of their last 10 games. The over 8.5 does kind of stand out to me. However, they are playing in the Rangers Stadium, which does look to keep the ball in play. Also, it is Patrick Corbin, that lefty throwing for the Rangers, who in his game logs have had a pretty interesting amount of splits in his favor. So I do kind of lend towards the Tigers in this game, and that's going to be our first official play as we do look for the Detroit Tigers to take care of business. So give me the Tigers here on the money line. That's going to be where we're looking at this game at a minus 120 price. I think this is one where we look for the Tigers to bounce back. Also, as we want to talk about the starting pitcher for Detroit, Olsen has been fantastic. Just going to fade Patrick Corbin. We'll see what happens. If the Texas Rangers put up 10 runs, I'll tip my cap. We'll move on. We'll live to bet another day. But I do like the Detroit Tigers here on the money line. Very cheap price on the road, minus 120. Okay. The next game that we are going to get into, this will be the first game on the docket. Okay. This will be the Boston Red Sox and the Cubs. This is a 2:20 first pitch. So forgive me, I was wrong. The early window is going to be some day baseball at Wrigley. The wind's going to be blowing in. Okay. Not going to get involved, but as we look for Lucas Giolito going against Rhea, I wanted to really get involved with the Cubs side of this. I think that the Cubs were playing great baseball, but I'll tell you one thing about the Boston Red Sox. They have won 10 straight baseball games. I do think they have an edge as Lucas Giolito looks revitalized. This is going to be a stay away game because I think it's more so a coin flip. The odds makers agree with me. Plus 115, minus 130 is what we're looking at. I just kind of want to see how these teams come out. We'll wait for a couple games to kind of get under their belts before we get involved with any Red Sox or Cubs action. But for me, this will be a stay away as well, especially with some day baseball, wind blowing in at Wrigley. This will be a no play. All right. White Sox and Pirates, as we talk about it, this is one where I do want to kind of look at some plus money there for the White Sox at plus 140. I know Pittsburgh has Bailey Falter throwing, but I think the White Sox, you have to kind of appreciate that they have been, in my opinion, hitting the baseball better than Pittsburgh. So I think plus 140 is a lot of value if you want to kind of snag a game here for Chicago. They might steal one on the road playing in Pittsburgh. So White Sox money lines where I would lean at plus 140. Okay. Angels and the Philadelphia Phillies. Now the Phillies have been, in my opinion, as we want to talk about them, one of the hotter teams in baseball. However, they've only won 4 of their last 10. Now, when I say hot, I mean because when they do win the game, they win by margin. Okay, so if you are going to lay the Phillies, I do suggest either not batting in the ninth, lowering that juice, or Phillies on the run line minus 1.5 at plus 100. This will be a no play for me as well. Kind of just want to see what the Angels roll out. And, you know, they're getting, in my opinion, very, very healthy at the right time. 47 and 49 on the season. Kind of a shocking team, I think, with some metrics, but not enough where it's going to get me to overcome the Phillies at home with Jesus Luzardo. Definitely backing the Phillies as I do like them in this spot. Just kind of not going to pay up at minus 200 on the money line and at the run line price at a whopping even money plus 100. It's just not enough for me to get involved. So outside of maybe playing Phillies team total, which I'm not going to do. This is a no play, stay away game for me as well. Okay. San Diego and Washington. That's going to be the next game we talk about as we see Dylan Cease taking on a pitcher not to be named yet for the Nationals. Okay. So looking at the rotation, if we do get to see Mackenzie Gore, there you go. A little bit of a coming home party, if you will, going against the Padres. But I do think that the Padres have been very impressive, in my opinion, a little bit more so in terms of pitching and winning close games. But they did get started to get hot as they won 4 of their last 6 up into the All-Star break. Nats are on a 8 of 10 skid. That's something to keep in mind. So I do kind of like the Padres here, but I won't lay over $1.50. So minus 154 is a no play for me. All right, next game we came this close to playing. I wanted to get involved with the Blue Jays going against the Giants as we look for a fade spot for Justin Verlander. Bassett going on the bump for the Blue Jays, 9-4 on the year, 4.12 ERA. Blue Jays at home, fading Verlander as he has failed to record a win yet on the season. This is kind of my fishy game of the day. I could see the Giants end up sneaking this one out, but for me, guys, it's Blue Jays or nothing as we see this sitting here at a minus 135 price. This was probably my third bet if I had to give one out officially, where I do like the Blue Jays quite a bit at home to get the job done. Okay. Reds and Mets, we're going to talk about that one a little bit as we look into what we're seeing with Nick Lodolo. No pitcher yet named for the Mets. I did see a little brief kind of excerpt as we look for, I think that there is a potential, okay, that we do see Sean Manaea. Okay, so Sean Manaea, only 1 start, 2.7 ERA, did lose that outing. But I like the Mets here at minus 160. But as we're seeing this across the board, it's one of those games that just is, in my opinion, out of the betting territory. So if I was going to play this, it would be Mets to not bat in the ninth inning. But other than that, that's the only angle that I would approach outside of prop markets. Okay. Kansas City, Miami. This is a underplay for me. If I was going to get involved, looking for a bounce back start there for Sandy Alcantara. And the Royals don't have a pitcher named, but I'm sure they're going to throw out their best arm. So I do like the Miami Marlins at home going under the total of 8, but no play officially. All right. A couple other games before we get to the last official one. Athletics and Guardians, minus 130 there for Cleveland. This is an Athletics play for me, plus 120. That's kind of where I would lean and stack up. The Guardians have been hot, winning 6 of their last 8 games. I'm sorry, winning 6 of their last 7 games. And also, if we want to talk about the prospects of what we've seen within the Athletics, okay, they're kind of like an either-or kind of team. All right, so they've won 5 out of their last 10. I do like the Athletics a little bit with a plus 120, some plus money there for Sacramento, Oakland, Vegas, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so it's going to be A's or nothing, but I will stay away from this game. Winds blowing in Cleveland as well. 7-10 first pitch, no play on this game. And the last one before the final official play, Yankees and Braves. I kind of like the Yankees in the spot going against Spencer Strider. They don't have a pitcher named. The Braves were kind of getting it done, winning 3 of their last 5. And I do think the Yankees, after dropping 2, after winning 5 straight, are really setting up at a nice price. This is a value play if you want to get involved with the Yankees, minus 105 on the road. The Braves get to stay home. They didn't really have to travel much within the All-Star break. Played at Truist Field, which I will kind of talk about that briefly. Thought it was a great All-Star game. Liked the format. Kind of didn't like it what it did for some bettors, but there was an opportunity if you had the National League plus 1.5, kind of breaking that streak, if you will, where the American League has dominated. Also, shout out to what we've seen with Cal Raleigh. A great story with his dad and brother catching behind the plate during the home run derby. So that was a fun sight to see as well. Okay. The last game on the card that we will have an official play in, saving the best for last. I'm going over Baltimore and Tampa Bay, taking the over 9 at minus 106. This is a game where I think that it sets up pretty nicely for the over. So as long as we don't have some rust on the bats, Charlie Morton on the road, we're going to fade that. And also Taj Bradley has been no fan of batters, if you will, as he has a 4.6 ERA, 5-6 on the year. Numbers are a little bit better at home, but playing in the ballpark down there in Tampa Bay, Orioles coming to town. I know they have some health and injury concerns, but I do think this one goes over the total of 9. So we will lay that at a minus 106 price. Okay, so that'll wrap it up. Those are the official plays. We're going to go Detroit on the money line, as well as Tampa Bay, Baltimore on the over. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Sorry for being out of the office, but we'll be back tomorrow with another video. Good luck with your picks and enjoy the Friday, and we'll see you guys all in the next video. Cheers.